provides a video editing and publication platform, and it solves the problem of editing content in the cloud. From a customer's point of view, it brings you a combination of three good things. One is efficiency in your editing. Second is sustainability. And the third point is low total cost of ownership. You've got a slide up there giving you some of the numbers here. So it's got a market cap of 55 million. It's an AIM listed business. And here's there's also on the left-hand side there, you'll see some pretty well-known institutional investors are large holders in this company. And that gives me the opportunity to say thank you for filling in the poll. And let's go to Ian McDonough, who's the CEO of Blackbird. Ian.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining today. So I'm going to take you through a short presentation on Blackbird PLC. I'm going to cover off what we do, who we are, where we came from, some key highlights, and a walk through the strategy, and then I'm going to conclude. So next slide, please. So what Blackbird is and what we do, we're an AIM-listed business. We have a market cap of around 55 million at the moment. We've just done our interim results, so we've had a presentation fairly fresh for this presentation, for this audience today. And what we are, we're a cloud-native content creation and distribution platform. So that means that we can do video editing and we can do video publishing. And that is for the professional market. That is for the professional global media and entertainment market. So customers that we have on our client list, for instance, include such imitable people as the NHL, the NFL, the US State Department, CBS Sports, A&E Networks, really the top end A-list clientele of the US media market. And most of our revenue is coming from the US. We are also very efficient as a platform. We are very carbon efficient. We are very cost efficient. We're very time efficient. We are very bandwidth efficient, hardware efficient, you name it. The way that the software has been architected means that we will run on very low amount of resources. And that is useful to customers. Why? Because we are used generally as a remote tool. So they will use us for remote editing from the field or from outside of the office, or sometimes from other offices across their networks. So generally we're very easy to plug in, very easy to operate, and very, very cost efficient to run. Now the core of Blackbird, and I know I'm going to get this question later on, is how we value the business. Well, right at the core of our platform, we have a very large amount of patents. We have 15 patents locked in and 5 more pending. We're aiming to grow that as well going forward. And those patents are based around how we treat video in the cloud, how we treat video on the internet. We have a very, very lightweight, efficient way of accessing high quality video and editing it frame accurately and then publishing it. And we are the only people in the world that can do what we do. We are growing our customer base very rapidly and getting a real name for ourselves in doing this. Obviously, before COVID, this was something of a rare ask, and we were building into a market that was growing relatively slowly. But since COVID has kicked off and remote editing has become really the norm, this market has really mushroomed. So in terms of awards as well, we're a multi-award winning platform. We have just won in December last year the Environmental Sustainability Award of the Year from IABM, but we're also holders currently of the Best Tech Company, and we're also holders of the Queen's Award, which was awarded to us just a few weeks ago. We're also the NAB Product of the Year at this stage. So we're well renowned, well understood within our marketplace. Next question, please. Next slide, please. So as I said, we just done our half-year results, and we're going into the second half after having record revenues and record growth. We're up 78% versus prior year. We also have a record order book at the end of August of £4 million, and so it was record growth. We've also just done a fundraise in December 2021 very well timed, as I'm sure most people on this call will attest to raise money to accelerate growth opportunities for ourselves in the creator economy. So outside of professional M&E, professional media and entertainment, the software, the technology has a huge amount of application within the creator space. And by creator space, what we mean is anybody that is trying to make money from creating video. So yes, that means all of those influencers, it means all of those YouTubers, it means all of those people that are in the social space. But also beyond that, there's also the prosumer market and the corporate market as well. So it's not just the social space, it's beyond into the prosumer and the corporate space as well. We've also hired in-house expertise to accelerate growth opportunities. So we've hired in 3 leaders into the business since the last few weeks. This was on the back of the fundraise. They are a chief product officer, whose name is Sumit Rai. Sumit has been a leader in the business himself. He was chief product officer at Vegas, which is the 4th largest video editing platform in the world. And we've managed to find a tech expert of that caliber in the UK, which is amazing, and brought him over. We've also hired a new VP of engineering and a new VP of product marketing. So we are really moving very quickly into that business, sort of that direct to consumer, direct to customer space with the new team that we're bringing on. We've also, and I think this is really important, because the company is in the past focused really on direct deals in the media entertainment space. Scaling that business has been a kind of one-by-one opportunity, and we wanted to make sure we found a way to scale things a little quicker. So we've done this last September, our first technology licensing deal. That means that the core technology that powers Blackbird is now powering a partner of ours, it's a European partner, who is rolling out their platform to an A-list gold standard broadcaster in the US. And this is just the first customer of many. So this is a real inflection point in terms of scale for us. But before we've been doing one-to-one deals, as I say, and now this partner will allow us to scale our technology very quickly across the entire industry. So this company in question has over 500 installs, 500 customers installed across their base, and we are very confident that Blackbird will be penetrating into a large number of those. So real inflection point in terms of for us. Okay, next slide, please. So this slide is kind of encapsulates what I've just been talking about in terms of where we're going strategically. So when I joined the company back in 2018, we were working really just purely on infrastructure deals, where we were doing one-to-one deals with the likes of the US State Department or CBS, etc. And they really do still, we do a lot of it direct deals still, because they're very good for our pedigree, they're very good for our press, they're very good for our reputation in the industry. But where we're going to scale, how we're scaling Blackbird, is really through the next 2 circles here on the slide. So OEM, which is the technology licensing side of the business. So as I mentioned, we just done our very first powered by Blackbird, so our first technology licensing deal into this European partner, who's now rolling out that product across its customer base. So that's a way to see the penetration through the media and entertainment sector. And then what we call here is public cloud is the larger circle on the right-hand side. Public cloud here is a vector. It's a way to reach a mass market. By public cloud, we're talking about the big clouds like AWS, Microsoft Azure, or Google Cloud Platform. And once we have our own cloud natively programmed into the public cloud, we can release a software, we say high availability SaaS platform that will allow us to penetrate the creator space. So the creator space currently is $100 billion market. It is really the preserve of 4 major platforms: YouTube, the Meta platforms, TikTok, and a number of others. But it is those. Well, it's Facebook and Instagram, TikTok and YouTube. They're the ones that kind of currently run that market. We can provide a content creation and distribution tool that will address that market ecosystem. So very exciting. This is the next stage of our growth, and this is going to be happening in the next 12 months. We expect to have a product in the market in 2023 to address that market. Next slide, please. Now, this presentation was really about ESG, and one of the key reasons why Blackbird has such cachet in the market is really because we are the most carbon efficient platform out there. We are carbon efficient for a number of reasons. Firstly, because we allow almost 100% remote editing, so therefore there is no need to travel to a venue. So in the media entertainment space, I don't know if anyone here has been to those big sporting events, but you'll remember there are always big trucks out there outside of those big sporting events. Well, we negate the need for producers and for editors to travel to the venue. They can do that from their home base. We also have a much lower impact in terms of machinery, in terms of hardware. So you can use Blackbird on any hardware, on any laptop. You don't have to have a specific piece of hardware built like our competition. And most importantly, we have a massive saving in terms of bandwidth. Because of the codec that I mentioned very much at the top of this presentation is so efficient, it means that you're not shunting, you're not transporting high res video content from A to B and B to C and back again. And that is a huge drain. If you're moving that high res content, and we're not talking just about HD content, but we're talking about 4K and very soon 8K content being moved around, it is a massive drain in terms of carbon and in terms of cost. Because we're not doing that, Blackbird has been seen to be up to 91% more carbon efficient, use less carbon than our competition. So we are 91% more carbon efficient than on an on-premise system, and we are 84% more carbon efficient than a cloud-based system. So a cloud-based system has gone kind of halfway there. It is remote, but it is a kind of lift and shift solution whereby that high res is still being moved from A to B and around the world. So that is a little snapshot of where we are with Blackbird. Blackbird, as I say, it's just come off it is currently in a huge growth trajectory in terms of revenue. We are 78% up in revenue up to the half year. We have a record order book. We have an inflection point in scale just about to happen as we roll out to this gold standard broadcaster across the US, and the partner in question's customers beyond that. So the partner in question, it doesn't just deal with this US broadcaster. They have customers in sports and news in most countries around the world. So we're really at an exciting point in terms of the growth of Blackbird into the M&E market. And then just to conclude, we really want to enter the creator space, which is a $100 billion market today, where the scalability of our platform, the ease of use and the efficiency will allow us to penetrate deeply. I think some areas of context here as well, just before I finish, is that this is an industry that is populated with giants, and we are very friendly with all those giants. So we're working closely with Amazon, we're working closely with Microsoft. In fact, we were just on Microsoft's stand at the last IBC show in Amsterdam just about 2 weeks ago. We were on Google stand at the last IBC show, and we're working very closely with Amazon. I think one other thing just to note in terms of movement in this industry is it is a very acquisitive industry. So there's been some major transactions happened in this industry in the last few years. There's a company called Frame.io that got acquired by Adobe about a year ago for $1.25 billion, which didn't do the same thing as Blackbird did, but did something adjacent. And then just to make sure that there's still life in that market, Adobe acquired a company called Figma for the grand sum of $20 billion just about 3 or 4 weeks ago, as we were on this roadshow actually. So it just shows you that there's an awful lot of interest in companies that can get the product right and get the formula right to roll out a very scalable platform. So that's my conclusion. Thank you very much.
Ian, thank you very much. Right, there's a number of questions. I'll go through them in no particular order. The first question relates to the success of companies in the COVID and working from home world. where a lot of companies have picked up massive revenue growth and found latterly that there has been an issue. I suspect the questions sort of based around what's happened to Peloton and Deliveroo and all these other sort of companies. You obviously don't believe that that's going to impact your company to the same extent. And in fact, what you've talked to us about is a massive increase in your growth. So just to allay investors' fears, why do you think you're not going to have the issues that so many companies have had when we're recovering from COVID?
It's a good question, and what we would say in terms of production is that the technology has been obviously available in the market for some time to remotely produce, but there's been a lack of confidence, a lack of need to do that, you know, up until COVID, and then it was tried, and it was seen to be not just better in terms of you know, health and safety, but actually it was better in terms of cost, it was better in terms of quality, it was better in terms of life balance for workers, it was better in terms of carbon. There was just a whole raft of different reasons why remote production was suddenly far superior to sending huge amounts of people, airplanes, trucks, whatever it be, to an event. And so on the back of that, you know, I think it goes back to that kind of Elon Musk quote where he says, we don't just want to build, you know, a better electric car, we want to build a better car. And I think that's the whole thing. We want to build a better remote experience. We want the whole experience to be far better. So that's where we are today. I think the double-edged sword of that, of course, is that once you've proven that there's a market there, that there is always competitors that come into that market. So the market has grown enormously in terms of its size, and Blackbird is still very much a market leader. But the fundraise at the end of last year was really timely to bring on new team members and new expertise to make sure that we're pushing forward with our technology, pushing forward with our strategy to stay ahead of the curve.
So I think you mentioned the patents, the ones you've got and the ones that are pending. And this basically, to some extent, limits the technical competition. I think that's basically what you said. But how much money do you need to keep investing in the business to stay ahead of the competition? How much, in other words, how much R&D spending do you need? Because presumably this market isn't static, it's a tech market that's moving very rapidly. How do you address that issue to keep ahead?
Yeah, so I think the great thing about Blackbird is that an awful lot of that's been spent already, even before I came on board. So the company is not a brand new company. The company's been around since the year 2000, and what we have created in the Blackbird patents is not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy thing for us to do if we started from standing start now with 1,000 engineers. It's not that easy. In fact, I was at the IBC show just 2 weeks ago, and one of our competitors said that he was very tickled by the fact that because we renamed the company Blackbird in 2018, he was very tickled by the fact everyone was suddenly talking about this startup called Blackbird that had this amazingly reliable platform. In actual fact, it's taken a long time to build. So where our uniqueness is and where our competitive advantages is strong at the moment. But to address your question, how much do we have to keep moving it forward? Well, we can't rest on our laurels, and we've increased the size of our engineering staff alongside the leaders that we said that we brought in, to make sure not only that we're making sure the codec is moving forward, and currently we're working with a codec called Blackbird 9, and we are hoping to release Blackbird 10 in 2023. So that's going to take us to a whole new level in terms of efficiency and quality of that codec, but also that we're moving the product forward, and the product is more polished, the product is more integratable into other different platforms, and it addresses a larger market. We want to make sure that we're going to be a full glass-to-glass solution for that creator economy market.
Could you say more about the pricing environment in order to gain business? Are you after market share, or are you after quality clients?
That's a great question. I would say we're still growing the company, so we have to be competitive. We have a superior product, but the superior product has to be has to also be able to knock out the price comparisons as well. So we are very competitive against our our competitors, the likes of Adobe and Avid, and others in the space. Where we are slightly different is that Blackbird actually offers a wider range of benefits or of services. So not only are we offering video editing and publishing, but we also offer bandwidth, we also offer cloud storage, we also offer compute power as well. So where our pricing compared to our competitors, because of the wider range of services that we offer, is around 10 times our competitors. But once you boil it down into like for like, it's pretty similar. But because we offer this wider range, we can get a wider share of wallet.
So when you win new business, are you largely replacing an existing supplier, or are you finding that companies realize that there's a great opportunity to use your product in order to reach further afield? So how fast is the market growing for new users relative to people already using this content, but using a different supplier, so to speak?
So in the creator space, the market is growing extremely quickly, and when we go into that market, we won't be replacing things. We'll be going into fresh users effectively. In the broadcast market is growing much more slowly, and we generally are there a replacement tool. What we've found though in large accounts such as A&E Networks, and unfortunately I'm never allowed to say the name of this company, but we're in the world's largest financial news organization. I'm sure all of your listeners and viewers will know this organization. Not allowed to say the name of it, but we in those two organizations we actually added huge amounts of new competence to their team. So we've been put right across the base, and people from marketers to social media to legal, as well as content people, are using the platform to access and able to process video.
Thank you. Just remind people, if there are any more questions you'd like to post, we've only got about another 3 minutes. I'm going to move on to the next question, which relates to the public cloud you mentioned. I wasn't quite clear whether your reference to YouTube, Meta, and TikTok was meaning that you were able to help them grow their businesses, or whether you were helping other people compete with them.
Well, indirectly, we would help them grow their business. What we would do is allow their content creators to produce content more easily. So at the moment, to produce content outside of using a standard platform, so outside of using a TikTok editor, or outside of using an Instagram editor, the field is either very complex. You're either very complex up here in the kind of Adobe Premiere or the Avid area, which just is not really an option for your basic social media creator, or you're in really kind of the very, very, very low end tools. So there's nothing really that allows for very easy, scalable, high quality content creation and publication across multi-platform at this stage, and that's what we will be offering.
Okay, so we're going to move to a poll in a couple of minutes. It'll be appearing on the right-hand side of your screen. So the last question basically is your revenue is just about 2 million run rate at the moment. Just tell people how rapidly you think you can grow that over the next 5 years.
Well, we closed last year at 2 million. We are that's not including the interim numbers, so we're significantly up on that in terms of run rate already. What we'll be doing in terms of scaling our numbers, we'll be addressing this enormous market of the creator space, where, as I said, the likes of Figma and Frame before us have managed to scale very, very quickly through that market by getting the product right for a high availability SaaS platform. And that's where we're going next.
Okay, and the last question, there's just one come in. On these license deals, how do we know that you're not giving away too much of the pie just to expand the scale of your product?
Well, it's a market that keeps you very honed. This is not a new market. This is a market where there's big players, big giants in the market, and we're making our product as competitive as we can to grow. But we also, we are shareholders in the business, so we want to make sure that shareholders are very well looked after. So we very much have that top of mind. So we make sure that we are keeping an eye on the prices and get the balance right.
Ian, thank you very much indeed.